So let's talk about bilateral disc edema, which is not papilledema. So just to recap what Nikhil had said, when you have congenital crowded discs like this is not disc edema. He's already discussed that in detail. But let me just show you an OCT picture of something related to this. Prominent but not edematous nerve fiber layer on OCT. On OCT, as you can notice here, there is an elevated optic nerve head, but the nerve fiber layer just adjacent to the optic nerve. Look at that. This was a recent patient. This is the right eye, and then this is the left eye. If you look at this is the right eye again, another picture. If you look at it carefully, the fundus picture, it looks as if there is an elevated optic nerve disc edema. But if you look at the OCT, then you can see that this is the optic nerve head. So the nerve fiber layer adjacent to that shows no edema. Now this is a case of a 24-year-old male with sudden diminution of vision in the right eye 4 months earlier. Vision was finger counting half a meter and left eye was 6.6. There was an RAPD in the right eye which was seen. Fundus examination showed a right CRVO with cystoid macular edema and ONH drusen. Okay, the pictures are not very clear from here, but the patient had a central retinal vein occlusion along with an optic disc drusen. Okay, so you can see the hemorrhages in the periphery. And this is the fundus photograph of the left eye, which gives us the clue that this is basically an optic disc drusen, which led to a complication of a central retinal vein occlusion. So he basically had congenital optic disc drusen. The investigations done, his blood pressure was high, and that probably was the trigger factor. The rest of the investigations were normal. And B scan also confirmed, again the picture is probably not very clear, but the B scan confirmed the optic disc drusen. And this is the angiography confirming the retinal vein occlusion. So basically I had one eye true disc edema and the other eye pseudo disc edema. So bilateral, it looked as if it was papilledema in both eyes, but it was not. Another example of a middle-aged male, 6'9" vision in both eyes, and the blood pressure was 180 by 125. Persistent elevated blood pressure, which leads to AV nicking, cotton wool spots, retinal hemorrhages, and disc edema. So, where do you look for these? As suggested by Nikhil, look in the mid periphery. The vasoconstriction and choroidal ischemia leads to disc edema, and there is a high risk of stroke, heart attack, and death in these individuals. So this is one picture where it is very subtle, but look at the cotton wool spot which is far away. So that suggests that there is a retinal vascular involvement apart from the optic disc, and this was the patient, hypertensive retinopathy. Look at all those cotton wool spots there. So persistent ischemia led to optic disc pallor in this patient. So that is another, outcome of such a condition. If not controlled in time, it can lead to loss of vision permanently. Another example of hypertensive retinopathy where you have hemorrhages and you have exudates, along with that a macular star, which is a partial macular star in this case. And the vision loss in the left eye, 6/60, is due to this, the macular star, not due to the disc edema. A bilateral loss of vision in a 12-year-old child. One of the eyes shown here, disc edema. And what do we do now? So you look at this. Now I want to tell you about the OCT findings in a true disc edema. If you look carefully at this sign here, you see the nerve fiber layer. It is thickened, and there is this inverted V, a lazy V it's called. And that is the reason, this confirms that there is true disc edema. And if you see moderate disc edema, you will see a huge space here in the nerve fiber layer, and if you see severe disc edema, you can't even see the optic nerve head. So this is how mild, moderate, severe optic disc edema looks. Okay, as against drusen here, you see drusen, there's hardly anything here, but there is an elevation, and then you see there's this lumpy, bumpy appearance which correlates with the drusen in the optic nerve head. And again, even if it is severe elevated disc, still you have this lumpy, bumpy appearance as compared to true disc edema where you don't have that lumpy, bumpy appearance. So in children, Papillitis can present bilaterally. That is another diagnosis which is not papilledema, associated with vision loss. It may be painful, it may be associated with headache. When you give steroids to a child like this, you get good improvement, but you have to give steroids for a long course of 6 weeks, and that leads to remission, and then this usually does not progress to any other systemic illness. So this is another differential of papilledema. There is loss of vision, there is headache, and it may be post-infectious or post-immunization. It is usually steroid responsive and also dependent on steroids. One condition which was already covered earlier, diabetic papillopathy, disc edema, but associated with the other retinal changes of diabetic retinopathy. So this is a condition, is a patient who presented with a sudden loss of vision, painless, but then following that, this usually is also bilateral, but then they do not have severe loss of vision. In rare cases, it may progress on to a complete full-blown ischemic optic neuropathy. Usually the recovery is good. This is another example of bilateral disc edema in a diabetic patient associated with hemorrhages. Again, if you have a strong history of diabetes with retinal changes, like in this case at the top here you can see hemorrhages, then think in terms of diabetic papillopathy and not papilledema. The important thing is good visual outcome. It is more common in younger patients with insulin dependent diabetes, and they may be associated diabetic retinopathy. Inflammatory causes that can also present with bilateral disc edema. This is a case of VKH. You can see the extent of involvement. You can see the retina around it also is inflamed. And this is usually, there are two different pathologies. One is the chorioretinitis involvement, as well as there is a raised ICT. So you have to be careful in diagnosing VKH and ruling out raised ICT at the same time. It's usually bilateral painful loss of vision. There's disc hyperemia with posterior uveitis and may have serous retinal detachment, which clinches the diagnosis of VKH. And anterior uveitis with mutton fat KPs may be present. Patient may have a history of tinnitus, headache, vitiligo, alopecia, and usually there is a significant response to steroids if started in time. Another example of VKH with disc edema and macular edema. Severe macular edema, as you can see in the OCT below. And AAION, which was again dealt with earlier, if you detect the case immediately on onset, then you may have a unilateral involvement. But within the next few hours or days, the other eye may get involved, and that will present with a picture like this. So you may have a retinal artery occlusion along with a pale disc edema. This is suggestive of a giant cell arteritis in an elderly patient. Rapid sequential bilateral loss of vision with associated central retinal artery occlusion or ocular ischemic syndrome in a patient who has a history of headaches, jaw claudication, calf pain, fever. Usually has a poor visual outcome even though we start steroids immediately without any other investigation. The patient has maintained on steroids for a long time, and they have associated pathologies or conditions, and because of which the morbidity is high, the visual prognosis is not too good. Also infiltrative optic neuropathy, which has been dealt with earlier. This can present bilaterally, especially so in a child. Suppose he has leukemia, the way you see in this picture. There are infiltrates on the center of the disc, apart from the other signs of a true disc edema. Another example where there is a bilateral disc edema. Also, we have to understand that the other eye disc edema, even though does not look infiltrative, it could be due to raised ICT. So you could be having infiltrative optic neuropathy in this side and a papillary edema on that side. So usually it presents with a sudden loss of vision, usually advanced CNS involvement, and sarcoidosis is another differential where the optic nerve gets involved with vasculitis and candle wax drippings along with it. Then infectious optic neuropathy, HIV, dengue, hepatitis and chikungunya. These are 4 conditions you need to remember. As you can see here, there is involvement of not just the optic disc, but there are so many cotton wool spots and infiltrates around it. This is typical of infectious optic neuropathy. This is a rare finding of bilateral chikungunya papillitis. So again, there is no raised ICT here, just inflammatory bilateral optic neuropathy, which when you treat the basic underlying condition, this also resolves. Then another cause, which is not so common. A 25-year-old male who had a sudden painless blurring of vision in both eyes. The vision was 6/24 in both eyes. The pupils were slightly sluggish, and there were central scotomas. And this kind of patient presented with disc edema and associated flame-shaped hemorrhage. So this had to be investigated, but when we looked again at the history and asked the patient how was his general habits, and we found that he had poor nutritional habits. So this was basically a case of nutritional optic neuropathy picked up in the acute stage. Again, when his general health was taken care of with multivitamins and other tonics, his health improved, his disc edema disappeared. So what are the investigations we do in bilateral disc edema? BP is on top of the list. We do a visual fields to rule out the other conditions as listed by Dr. Jyoti, AION, papillitis, papillopathy. We do a series of blood tests where we do not get any clue from the fields or the blood pressure. And we do all these blood tests. Of course, if patient presents with fever and other systemic toxic signs, then we look for HIV, dengue, hepatitis. And angiography when we have a doubt, and especially so in diabetes patient for diabetic papillopathy, ischemic optic neuropathy, and GCA if required, VKH, yes, to look for the choroiditis. The other investigations, optic nerve head OCT, I just showed you the main differentiation between true and pseudo disc edema. Ultrasound to look for drusen, CT scan to look for drusen. And MRI when you have a case of papillitis or VKH when you are looking for CNS involvement, especially also in infiltrative optic neuropathy. A temporal artery biopsy after having started the patient on steroid to confirm the diagnosis. Thank you.